This video is for educational overview only. Viewers are encouraged to study the topic in detail and continue their academic learning alongside this video. Thanks.
Today, we're diving into a massive shift happening in cybersecurity, and it's all being driven by artificial intelligence at a speed that is, frankly, a little terrifying. And it all boils down to one single unnerving question. Here's the thing. This isn't a hypothetical anymore. It's the question that is completely reshaping the security world right now. The game has changed, and it all kicked off with one AI model and a discovery that was just staggering. So, researchers at Anthropic basically let their AI, Claude Opus 4.6, go to town on a bunch of open source code. And the result? It found and validated over 500 high-severity, zero-day vulnerabilities. And these are the big ones, the kinds of hidden, critical flaws that attackers absolutely dream of finding. And we're not talking about simple, low-hanging fruit here. These were deep, structural bugs in software that's out there right now that had been missed for years, sometimes even decades. They made it past countless hours of review by brilliant human experts and millions of checks by automated tools. The AI wasn't just faster, it was seeing things in a totally different way. As analyst Mitch Ashley puts it, this isn't just about a cool new tool. No, this is the starting pistol for a whole new kind of arms race. A race where the clock is ticking and the consequences of losing are getting more and more severe. So the first piece of this puzzle is this new reality. Finding vulnerabilities is no longer a human-scale problem. It's happening at machine speed. But finding bugs faster just creates an even bigger, more dangerous problem. Because, let's be real, finding 1,000 flaws is completely useless if you only have the capacity to fix 10 of them. We've just supercharged one side of the equation, discovery, while the other side, the human side, is now dangerously overwhelmed. This is what experts are calling the triage bottleneck. For years, we were all obsessed with finding bugs earlier and faster, but discovery was never the real constraint. The true bottleneck has always been our human capacity to actually verify a bug, create a patch, and safely deploy the fix. All this AI has done is throw a giant spotlight on that bottleneck. And this right here, this is the core mismatch. An AI can find a critical vulnerability and maybe even suggest a fix in just a few hours or days. But for our human teams, the whole process of testing that fix, getting approvals, and rolling it out can take weeks, sometimes months. That massive gap in time, that's the attacker's new playground. So the obvious question is, well, why don't we just hire more people to close that gap? Yeah, about that. That's the other part of the crisis. Right now, there is a global shortage of 4.8 million cybersecurity professionals. The people literally aren't there. To put that into perspective, the current global workforce is about 5.5 million people. But to meet today's actual demand, we'd need over 10 million. We would have to nearly double the entire global workforce just to catch up to where we are right now. And that's not even counting the flood of new flaws the AIs are going to find. So when you've got this huge, growing backlog of unpatched holes and not nearly enough people to fix them, attackers don't have to break down the front door anymore. They find a much quieter, much smarter way in. They target the one thing our entire digital world is built on: trust. This is the whole idea behind a software supply chain attack. Instead of trying to breach a company's tough outer defenses, they attack the tools, the open source code, and the update systems that companies already trust and use every single day. They're not picking the lock, they're using the keys we unknowingly give them. Let's look at how this plays out with a real-world example: the Shaihulud attack. In the first wave, the attackers just proved it was possible. They poisoned about 180 popular software packages by stealing developer credentials. In wave 2, they scaled it up, hitting over 800 packages and compromising hundreds of organizations. But by the third wave, the goal changed. It wasn't about making a big splash anymore. It was about stealth and survival, hiding deep inside the supply chain for the long haul. This new reality of AI speed attacks and a compromised supply chain, it means the old way of thinking about security, that whole find and patch model, is officially dead. We need a totally new approach, a fundamental shift in how we even think about building software. And that new approach is being called offensive engineering. The idea is simple. Security isn't something you check for at the very end. It has to be a core design feature, just like performance or usability. It means building systems by constantly asking yourself, If I were the bad guy, how would I break this? And then designing resilience in from the very first line of code. This shift in mindset is absolutely crucial. We're moving from being reactive to being proactive, from just assuming our tools are safe to verifying everything. Security stops being the last step in a checklist and becomes a core design principle. And the goal is no longer just to ship features, it's to build systems that are resilient enough to actually withstand an attack. This really changes the very definition of what makes a great developer. It's not just about building stuff anymore. In this new era, the most valuable engineers are the ones who are architects of survival, designing systems that are meant to last in what is now a very hostile digital world. And this brings us to the economic reality of it all. This isn't just some philosophical debate. It's a massive economic one. The very definition of value in the tech world is being rewritten as we speak. Because think about it. In today's economy, the ability to prevent a multi-million-dollar data breach provides so much more strategic value than adding one more feature to an app. Companies are finally realizing that resilience isn't a cost center, it's a massive competitive advantage. And if you want proof, look no further than this number, $450,000. That's the high-end salary for a top-tier cybersecurity architect, someone who really lives and breathes that offensive engineering mindset. The market is absolutely screaming for these skills. And here's exactly why they'll pay it. As Codefinity points out, a single major breach can be an existential threat. It can completely erase customer trust, lead to huge fines, and permanently wreck a brand. So that high salary, it's not a cost. It's an insurance policy against total disaster. So we'll end with this question for you to think about. In an age where threats are moving at the speed of AI, the old goal of just shipping code as fast as possible, well, it's not enough anymore. The only question that really matters now is, are you building things just to ship them, or are you building them to survive? Thanks for tuning in.